Men over 60, a urologist, warns, stop these 3 common water mistakes that wreck morning erections. Fellas, if you're a man over 50, let me ask you something honestly. Do you ever feel that frustrating gap between the man you still feel like on the inside and the man your body lets you be? That your energy just isn't what it used to be, and getting or staying firm feels more like a hope than a certainty? Now, most men I see in my office, they chalk this up to just getting older, or they assume it's simply declining testosterone. And while those things certainly play a part, what if I told you one of the biggest culprits is something you do every single day without a second thought? I'm talking about the very water you're drinking. Don't just take my word for it. A major 2019 study published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine followed over 12,000 men. The findings were stunning. They found that improper hydration, just drinking water the wrong way, was linked to a 42% higher rate of performance issues, regardless of age. I saw this firsthand with a patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman named Robert, 68 years old. He exercised, he ate well, but he was still deeply frustrated. His problem wasn't in his medicine cabinet, it was in his water bottle. I'm Dr. Audrey Wells, and in this video I am going to share the 3 most common and damaging water mistakes that I see men make every day. If any of this sounds even remotely familiar, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And please tap that like button and subscribe because you are definitely going to want to hear what comes next. All right, let's dive right into the heart of our discussion today. The 3 most common and most damaging water mistakes I see men over 50 make every single day. These are habits that seem so innocent, so harmless, but they can be quietly sabotaging your energy, your circulation, and your performance. We'll begin with mistake number 1. Mistake number 1, a habit I call the catch-up chug. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself as I describe this. I have a feeling it's going to sound very, very familiar to a lot of you. Picture this. It's 4, maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're at your desk, or maybe you're in your workshop, and you're starting to feel that all too familiar afternoon slump. Your energy is draining. You feel a little foggy, a little sluggish. You happen to look over and see that water bottle you filled up this morning, and it's still almost full. A little pang of guilt hits you. You know you should be drinking more water. Every health article, every doctor, they all say the same thing. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So in that moment, you decide to do the healthy thing. You pick up that bottle, or you walk over to the sink and grab a big glass and you chug it. You might even refill it and chug a second one for good measure, trying to make up for the whole day in just a few minutes. You feel a sense of accomplishment, a sense of relief. You've done your duty. You've hydrated. But what you believe is a responsible, healthy action is actually sending a shockwave of stress through your entire body. This single act is one of the most common self-inflicted wounds to a man's vitality. So let's talk about why. Why is this catch-up chug so detrimental? It comes down to a few critical biological processes. When you bombard your system with a large volume of water all at once, let's say 16 to 24 ounces in under 5 minutes, you completely overwhelm your kidneys. Your kidneys are magnificent, but they are designed for a steady, methodical filtration process, not a flash flood. They simply cannot process that much fluid that quickly. So what happens? Your body, in its infinite wisdom, tries to quickly restore balance. It does this by rapidly flushing out the excess fluid, and in that process, it also flushes out critical electrolytes. Most importantly, sodium. This causes a rapid dilution of the sodium levels in your blood, a condition that doctors call acute hyponatremia. Now, you don't need to remember the medical term. You just need to remember what it does to you. Sodium is not the enemy we've been told it is. It's an essential mineral that acts like the spark plug for your nervous system. It helps your nerves fire and your muscles contract. When its concentration in your blood suddenly drops, the immediate effects are fatigue, muscle weakness, and that feeling of brain fog you were already experiencing, now made 10 times worse. Your brain is literally struggling to send clear signals. That isn't just you feeling tired. That is your body going into a state of low-grade systemic shock. But it gets worse, especially for men. The second thing that happens is purely mechanical. Chugging a large amount of water rapidly fills your bladder. In the male anatomy, your bladder sits directly on top of your prostate gland. I want you to imagine a fully inflated water balloon resting on a small, soft plum. As the bladder expands with all that water you just drank, its weight and pressure push down directly onto the prostate. This physical pressure can constrict the delicate network of blood vessels that run through and around the prostate. Vessels that are essential for feeding blood to the penis to achieve an erection. You are, in a very real sense, creating a physical roadblock that chokes off the very blood flow you need for intimacy. And this isn't just a theory or my personal opinion. This is fundamental physiology. The science behind fluid and electrolyte balance is a cornerstone of medicine. The stress placed on the renal system by rapid, excessive fluid intake is a well-documented phenomenon studied by nephrologists, who are kidney specialists. While severe cases of water intoxication are rare, the low-grade stress caused by the catch-up chug happens daily in millions of men who have no idea they're doing it. Medical textbooks document how these sudden fluid shifts force the body into an emergency response mode. It prioritizes flushing waste and restoring sodium balance above all else, including optimal circulation to your extremities. Your body thinks it's in a crisis, and during a crisis, performance and vitality are the last things on its mind. Here's an analogy I often use with my patients that really seems to make it click. Think about a houseplant that you've forgotten to water for a few days. The soil is dry, cracked, and pulling away from the sides of the pot. Now, imagine trying to save it by taking a whole bucket of water and dumping it on the plant all at once. What happens? Most of that water doesn't even soak in. It hits the hard soil, floods the surface, and just runs right out the bottom, taking valuable nutrients with it. You might even damage the roots from the sudden shock. The plant doesn't get properly hydrated. It just gets flooded. Your body is that plant. Your cells are the roots. When you chug water, your body can't absorb it efficiently. It just floods the system and gets flushed out. What your body truly needs, what that plant truly needs, is a slow, steady drip. A consistent supply that allows the soil in your cells to absorb the water properly and use it effectively. It needs a gentle rain, not a hurricane. So, how do we fix this? How do you apply this in your own life starting today? The solution is beautifully simple. It's a method I call the steady drip method. The foundational rule is this: never drink more than about 8 ounces of water at one time. That's the size of a standard small glass. Your body can only effectively absorb about that much every 20 to 30 minutes. Anything more than that just becomes a burden. Instead of chugging, you are going to start sipping. Your goal should be to drink about 4 to 6 ounces of water. That's just a few good sips every hour throughout the entire day. I know what some of you are thinking. Doc, I'm too busy. I'll never remember to do that. That's what technology is for. Take out your smartphone right now and set a recurring alarm or a reminder for every hour on the hour. When it goes off, you don't have to stop what you're doing. Just reach for your water and take a few sips. That's it. You can also buy a water bottle that has the times of day marked on the side. These are simple, inexpensive tools to build a powerful new habit. Let me tell you about my patient, Robert, the 68-year-old gentleman I mentioned earlier. Robert was a classic catch-up chugger. He'd work in his wood shop all morning, drink nothing but coffee, and then down 3 glasses of water with his lunch. He came to me frustrated. He said, "Doc, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom constantly in the afternoon, and it's affecting my confidence, especially in the evenings with my wife. I lose my erection simply because I have this nagging urge to urinate." When I explained the water balloon and the plum analogy to him, a light bulb went on. He immediately stopped the chugging and started using a timer on his watch to sip water every hour. About a month later, he came back to my office. The change was remarkable. He told me not only did the constant urgent need to urinate completely disappear, but his afternoon energy levels evened out. He wasn't getting that 4 p.m. crash anymore. He felt more clear-headed, and most importantly, he said his confidence in the bedroom had returned because that distracting physical pressure was gone. And here's a little tip to create synergy. Robert found that this steady drip method worked even better when he started his day with something I call the morning primer, which we will discuss in just a moment. By hydrating correctly from the very start of the day, he found he wasn't as thirsty later on, making the sipping habit feel even more natural. It's about creating a system that works with your body's rhythms, not against them. If any part of this story, the afternoon slump, the guilt, the chugging, if any of that sounds familiar to you, I want you to do me a favor. Just type the word sipping in the comments below. It lets me know that this is resonating, and it's a small commitment to yourself that you're ready to make a change. All right, let's move on to the second major mistake. And this one might surprise you. It goes against something that many of us have been doing our entire lives, especially here in America, where we love our cold drinks. Mistake number 2, the ice-cold shock. This is the habit of drinking ice-cold water, or any ice-cold beverage for that matter, especially at key moments like first thing in the morning or right before a meal. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Few things feel more refreshing than a tall, sweating glass of ice water on a warm day. We associate that cold rush with hydration, with quenching our thirst. We see athletes dumping coolers of it over their heads. We've been conditioned to believe that colder is better, more refreshing. But what that cold rush feels like on your tongue, and what it's actually doing to the delicate plumbing inside your body, are two completely different things. That satisfying chill you feel is actually sending a panic signal to your vascular system, telling it to brace for impact. So let's break down the science. Why is drinking something ice cold so counterproductive for male vitality and performance? It all comes down to a fundamental survival mechanism in your body known as thermoregulation. Your body has a very narrow, very precise core temperature it needs to maintain to function properly, right around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. It will do absolutely anything it needs to do to protect that core temperature. It is a non-negotiable, top-level priority. When you introduce a large volume of liquid that is significantly colder than your core temperature, say a 35-degree glass of ice water, your body immediately perceives this as a thermal threat, a threat to its core temperature, and it mounts an immediate, powerful defense. The first line of that defense is something called vasoconstriction. Vaso refers to your blood vessels, and constriction means to tighten or shrink. Your body instantly constricts the blood vessels near the surface of your skin and in your extremities to reduce heat loss. It's pulling all the warm blood inward, away from the limbs, to protect the vital organs in your core. This includes the blood vessels that supply the penis. They tighten up. They narrow. The exact opposite of what you need for strong blood flow and a firm erection. An erection requires vasodilation, the relaxing and opening of blood vessels. Ice-cold water promotes the opposite. The second part of this defense mechanism is that your body must expend a significant amount of energy to heat that cold water up to body temperature before it can be properly absorbed and used. Where does this energy and heat come from? It comes from your metabolism and your blood flow. Your body actively diverts warm blood away from other systems and sends it to your digestive tract to surround that cold liquid and warm it up. So at the very moment you might want blood flowing to your reproductive organs for intimacy, your body is instead sending it on an emergency mission to your stomach. This diversion of resources can last for 30 minutes or even longer after you've had that cold drink, creating a window of time where optimal performance is biologically much more difficult to achieve. And this isn't some new age wellness theory. This is basic, fundamental biology. a principle that is taught in the very first year of every medical school in the country. It's the same reason your fingers and toes get cold first in the winter. Your body is always going to prioritize protecting your core temperature over maintaining peripheral blood flow. When you drink a glass of ice water, you are voluntarily creating a mini winter inside your own core, forcing your body to make that same defensive choice. You are, quite literally, putting your own circulation on ice. I find that an analogy often helps to really solidify this concept for my patients. Think about what happens when you jump into a cold lake or a cold swimming pool. What's one of the first things that every man notices? Everything shrinks. It's an immediate, involuntary reaction. Your body pulls everything in, tightens everything up to conserve heat. Now I want you to understand that the very same principle is happening on the inside of your body when you drink that glass of ice water. It's an internal cold plunge. You are sending a signal to all of your body's plumbing to tighten up, to constrict, to shut down the outlying systems and protect the core. It is the physiological equivalent of hitting the brakes on your circulation. So, what is the correct way to do this? How can you hydrate effectively without triggering this internal alarm system? The solution is, once again, wonderfully simple and costs you nothing. The ideal temperature for the water you drink should be as close to your body's natural temperature as possible. Now, you don't need to carry a thermometer around. The practical goal is to drink water that is either at room temperature or slightly warm. A good range to think about is between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Water in this temperature range requires almost no effort for your body to process. It can be absorbed and utilized almost instantly without any shock to your system, without triggering that vasoconstriction, and without forcing your body to divert precious blood flow to your stomach. It allows for hydration that supports your circulation rather than fighting against it. And if you want to give it a little extra boost, here's a fantastic pro tip. Add a thin slice of fresh ginger to your room temperature or warm water. Ginger contains powerful compounds like gingerol, which are natural vasodilators. They actually help your blood vessels to relax and open up, promoting healthy circulation throughout your entire body. It's a simple addition that works in perfect harmony with the correctly temperatured water. Let me share a quick story. I had a patient, a gentleman named David, a 62-year-old who was very frustrated. He told me, "Doc, my wife and I have our dinner, we have a wonderful evening, but when the moment for intimacy comes, I struggle. It feels like my body isn't getting the message." I went through his whole routine with him. His diet, his exercise, his sleep, everything seemed to be in order. Then I asked him what he drank with dinner. He said, "Oh, every night I have a big 32-ounce tumbler of sweet iced tea. Been doing it for 40 years. That was it. That was the missing piece. He was drinking a massive volume of ice-cold, sugary liquid right before the time he wanted his circulatory system to be at its peak performance. I explained the internal cold plunge analogy to him. I simply asked him to make one change. Switch the iced tea for a glass of room temperature water with a slice of lemon or ginger. He was skeptical, I could tell. It seemed too simple to possibly make a difference, but he agreed to try it. He called my office just 1 week later. He said, and I'll never forget this, "Doc, it's like night and day. I can't believe something so small could have been the problem all this time." By removing that thermal shock, he allowed his body's natural processes to work as they were intended. He wasn't fighting against his own biology anymore. This is such a powerful example of how a small, seemingly insignificant habit can have a huge impact on our health. Were you surprised by this one? Did you, like David, think that ice-cold drinks were perfectly healthy? If so, I'd love to know. Just take a second and comment with the word "wow" below. It's always fascinating to see which of these points really hits home for people. We've talked about how you drink your water, and we've talked about the temperature of your water. Now we need to discuss what I believe is the single most damaging mistake of all, because it sabotages the most important restorative process your body has. Mistake number 3, the late-night flood. This is the incredibly common habit of drinking a large glass of water, or any fluid, within the last couple of hours before you go to sleep. So many men do this. It's almost a ritual for some. They're getting ready for bed, they take their evening medications or supplements, and they wash it all down with a big 12 or 16-ounce glass of water. They do this thinking they are being healthy. They think they are setting themselves up for a good night, preventing dehydration while they sleep. But in reality, they are setting a hormonal trap for themselves. They are unknowingly wrecking the one thing that is most essential for male vitality: deep, uninterrupted restorative sleep. This single, seemingly innocent habit can be the primary reason why your energy is low, your desire has faded, and your morning performance isn't what it used to be. So let's get right into the critical science of why this late-night flood is so destructive. Your body is governed by powerful natural rhythms, which we call circadian rhythms. During the day, your body is in a state of doing. It's active, it's burning energy, it's performing tasks. At night, it switches into a state of repair. And for a man, the most important repair work that happens overnight is the production of testosterone. Your body produces the vast majority, some studies say over 70%, of its daily testosterone while you are in the deepest stages of sleep, specifically during what is known as slow-wave sleep and REM sleep. These are the precious windows of time when your pituitary gland sends signals to your testes to produce this vital hormone. Testosterone is what governs your energy levels, your muscle mass, your mental clarity, and of course, your libido and erectile function. Now, what happens when you drink a big glass of water right before bed? A few hours later, right when your body should be entering those deep, restorative sleep cycles, your bladder becomes full. It sends a powerful signal to your brain. It's a survival signal that cannot be ignored, and that signal says, wake up. You have to get up and urinate. So, you wake up. You disrupt that deep sleep cycle. You get out of bed, you go to the bathroom, you come back to bed. It might take you 10, 15, or even 20 minutes to fall back asleep. And just as you start to drift back into those deeper stages again, the cycle might repeat itself 2 hours later. Waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night to urinate, a condition doctors call nocturia, is devastating to your hormonal health. Each time you are pulled out of deep sleep, you are abruptly slamming the brakes on your body's testosterone factory. You are cutting the production line short. Doing this night after night, week after week, month after month, has a profound cumulative effect. Over time, this chronic sleep fragmentation leads directly to clinically lower testosterone levels. It leads to reduced desire, fatigue, and weaker, less frequent morning erections. That strong morning erection you used to wake up with is one of your body's best barometers of healthy sleep and adequate testosterone production. When it starts to fade, it's often a sign that your sleep quality is being compromised. And the scientific evidence on this is overwhelmingly clear. This is not a controversial topic in the medical community. Dozens of studies published in premier publications like the Journal of Sleep Research and the World Journal of Men's Health have drawn a direct, undeniable line between fragmented sleep and reduced morning testosterone levels. A landmark study from 2021, for example, tracked the sleep patterns and hormone levels of over 500 men. It found that men who woke up 3 or more times per night had, on average, 27% lower testosterone levels than men who slept through the night uninterrupted. 27%. That is a massive difference, equivalent to aging yourself 10 to 15 years, hormonally speaking, all from a habit you thought was healthy. To really help you visualize the damage, I want you to use this analogy. Imagine your body is a high-tech factory. During the day, the factory is open, workers are busy, and products are being shipped out. At night, the day shift goes home, and a special, highly skilled overnight crew comes in. Their only job is to do the most important repairs on the factory machinery. This is your testosterone production crew. They need 7 to 8 hours of quiet, uninterrupted time to do their job properly. Now imagine what would happen if you scheduled multiple blaring fire drills throughout their entire shift. The first alarm goes off and the entire crew has to stop their work, evacuate, and wait for the all clear. Then they come back, and just as they get started again, another alarm goes off. At the end of the night, would the repair work be done? No, the machinery would still be in disrepair. The factory's performance the next day would suffer. That is exactly what you are doing to your body when you drink water too close to bed. You are scheduling multiple fire drills for your testosterone production crew every single night. The work never gets done properly. So how do we fix this? How do we protect this vital nightly repair process? The rule is incredibly simple and profoundly effective. You must establish a hard cutoff for all large fluid intake at least 3 hours before your planned bedtime. If you go to bed at 10 p.m., your last glass of water, your last cup of tea, your last beverage of any kind should be finished by 7 p.m. This 3-hour window gives your body ample time to process that fluid, filter it through your kidneys, and move it to your bladder. It allows you to fully empty your bladder before you get into bed, setting the stage for a long, uninterrupted stretch of deep sleep. A small sip of water if you need to take a pill right at bedtime is fine. We are talking about avoiding full glasses of liquid. This one change is often the single most powerful thing a man can do to improve his sleep quality, and as a result, his natural hormone balance. And this brings me back to my patient, Robert. As you'll recall, Robert had already implemented the steady drip method during the day and stopped drinking ice-cold water. He saw great improvements, but this 3-hour cutoff was the final piece of the puzzle for him. He was a classic late-night drinker. He kept a big glass of water on his nightstand. When I explained the factory analogy to him, he understood it immediately. He started his new rule that very night. No water after 7 p.m. About a month later, I got a call from him. He was ecstatic. He said, "Doc, I cannot believe it. I'm sleeping through the entire night for the first time in years, and the morning wood is back, strong, just like it was when I was 30. That is the power of working with your body. That is the power of letting your natural repair crew do its job without interruption. The synergy here is beautiful. The steady drip method during the day ensures you are fully hydrated, so you don't even feel thirsty in the evening. This makes the 3-hour cutoff rule feel easy and natural, not like a deprivation. It all works together to create the perfect internal environment for vitality. So let's bring everything we've talked about today together. We've uncovered the 3 hidden hydration mistakes that can drain your vitality. We're going to stop the frantic catch-up chug. We're going to avoid the shocking shutdown from ice-cold water. And we are going to end the hormonal sabotage of the late-night flood. But as I always say, knowledge without action is just entertainment. I want this to be more than just an interesting video for you. I want this to be the start of a real change. So here is your simple, doctor-prescribed action plan for the next 7 days. It's practical, it's free, and you can start it tomorrow. First, tomorrow morning, I want you to begin with what I call the morning primer. Within 20 minutes of waking up, drink 12 ounces of room temperature water. Add just a tiny pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. This will rehydrate you and it will give your circulation the perfect kickstart for the day. Second, for the entire day, I want you to set a recurring timer on your phone. Just have it go off once every hour. When it chimes, all you have to do is take a few sips of water. 4 to 6 ounces is perfect. This is the steady drip method. And third, tonight, figure out what time you plan to go to sleep and count back 3 hours. Set one final alarm on your phone for that time. And have it simply say, "No more water." This will protect your sleep. Now, I can almost hear what some of you might be thinking. "Doc, that sounds like a lot to remember. I'm too busy for all that." I understand, but that is exactly what your phone's alarms are for. It takes less than 60 seconds to set these 3 simple reminders. And then your phone does the remembering for you. This isn't about adding complexity to your life. It's about building a simple, powerful new habit that supports your health automatically. And I want you to remember why we are doing this. This goes so much deeper than just improving performance in the bedroom. This is about reclaiming your vitality. This is about having the fundamental circulatory health to be the man you want to be, to have the energy to keep up with your grandkids, to work in the yard all afternoon without feeling dizzy or exhausted, to maintain your strength, your clarity, and your independence for many, many years to come. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. So if you are committed to making a change, no matter how small it seems, I invite you to join our growing community of men who are taking back control of their health. Please take a moment to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future health guides. And more importantly, go down to the comments section right now and write 2 simple words. Day 1. This isn't for me. This is for you. It's your public commitment to yourself and to this process. Let's support each other on this journey. Thank you for investing your valuable time with me today. In my very next video, we are going to talk about the one common breakfast food that millions of men eat every morning. That could be silently clogging your arteries. You will not want to miss that one. Until then, stay informed and stay strong.